In this video, I'm going to show you my technique for painting portraits from a photo. First thing we want to do is we want to make a sketch. We want to be able to make this kind of transparent so that we can see through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Control A on our keyboard to make a selection around everything on this layer. And then we're going to do a Control X to cut it. And then we're going to do Control V to paste it. So I'm going to rename this new pasted layer Ref, which is just short for reference. And let's put it down below the sketch layer. And then now that we have this reference image on its own layer, we can use the opacity slider to reduce the opacity. What we want to do now is zoom in a little bit so we can see things, and then we'll go to our sketch layer and we'll use a light gray, and we'll use something like the detail oils brush with a pretty thin brush here, and we will do a quick sketch here. So any kind of contours you see that you need to just make little indications of, or if you need to make some kind of light shadows or something so that you remember to shade in these places, do that. And then once you have something like this, you turn off our reference layer. I'm going to put it over on my other monitor so that I can see it. If you don't have a second monitor, what you can do is you can just have Painter running in a window here like this, and then just open your reference image elsewhere. Just have it over here, you know, off to the side. It won't give you as much space to work, but that's what you're going to have to do unless you have another way to pull up your reference image on a different device. First thing we'll do is we will make a new layer, and let's turn down our sketch a little bit. So we got to figure out what we want our color to be for our background. Do something like this. So I'm going to quickly just block in some of these areas here. A lot of this is just going to start out really rough, and then it's going to get refined over time. We also need to move our sketch above everything. Maybe we'll turn it up a little bit more, and we need to make it a multiply layer. Now we can see it better. Something like that. And then we'll use a digital airbrush. You can kind of use pretty much whatever brushes you want, and you can go for whatever style you want. Like if you want to make it, you know, more impressionistic or more expressionistic, and you want to use wacky colors, you can do whatever you want there. And I'm going to kind of do that here and there a little bit just to kind of show you what you can do. I'm just kind of adding colors, just not really purposefully, but just kind of whatever colors I feel like picking here. And it's good to establish where your light is first. You want to use whatever the lighting is in your photo unless you want to try to change that. And now start blocking in some of the other colors here. I'm going to make my hair color maybe like this. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to refine all this stuff. The skin tone is something about like that maybe. I'm using the scratchboard tool because it makes a nice smooth thick brush stroke, so it's really easy to fill stuff in quickly. There we go. And then just to save time, I think I'm going to make my outfit here pretty simple, so I'm not going to like add any kind of pattern or any detail or anything. I'll just make it look like it's maybe a sweatshirt. Using Alt on my keyboard to sample my hair color there and putting more of that in. See in my reference photo that I need some more sideburns down the side here. We're going to smudge some of this around a little bit using the coarse oily blender, and you're going to want some paper texture here, so we'll get something like this. We'll just in a couple places blend some of the background to break it up a little bit. We're going to blend more of it later. And then we'll zoom in a little bit on the hair. Begin getting the edge looking the way we want it. I want it to look kind of smudgy for now, because again, like I said, we're going to refine it more later. And then for the skin, it's a really easy way to clean this edge up here. Use the pinch tool for that. With the pinch tool, we can pinch pixels together. Imagine that this brush is your fingers right now, and you're pinching along the edge. Whatever's in between your fingers is going to get compressed together. I'm moving my brush along the edge that I'm trying to refine. So I'm kind of guiding it into the shape that I want. So we got the side of the head. This needs to come in more and meet there. Again, looking back and forth at my reference photo here, you should be doing the same as you're doing this. If it helps, you can kind of pause this video and start and stop it, just to kind of see what I'm doing incrementally here. That'll work. If this thread thing is bothering me, it probably didn't happen in yours, so I'm going to get rid of it just by blending it out a little bit. I'm going to blend some of this stuff too. I think the ear needs a little bit of refining. If you're wondering what these keyboard shortcuts I'm using are, I'm using tab to make the palettes go away sometimes, holding space on my keyboard to tap and move the page around, and I'm using Control and Alt on my keyboard and then tapping and dragging to resize my brush. So you can see that circle is defining the diameter of the brush. I recommend getting good at that because it'll allow you to paint a lot faster.